All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Some Random Guy Speaks. I am your host, Tony Love, and I have a lot of love. No Diddy, though, but a lot of love. So, we're going to be talking about a very important topic today, and I'm also going to bring up some other points. We're going to talk about the modern day left wing progressive um, party, which is the Democrats, the modern day Democrats. So we're going to talk about this though too. So as people come into the chat, I'm kind of doing this a little later on at night. Had some technical difficulties. I had it on the wrong setting. The microphone that I was using wasn't set for the right mic, which made it more like a robotic sound. So I apologize about that, ladies and gentlemen. But as always, though, we're gonna knock it out the park tonight and things. And I welcome people coming in on the chat though too. We're gonna knock it out though too. So not to worry about that though. So so we're gonna go ahead and go into some things though. We got to find out what is going on around in the news too. Let's take a look at it because my source that I use where I get my news. I'm not sponsored by them, but I get my news from Ground News. Ground News is a wonderful outlet where if you just want real journalism, it'll not only let you know who wrote the article, it'll source it. Plus, it'll let you know if it's left-leaning, right-leaning, or right down the middle and things. So therefore, this is where I get my source from, which is Ground News. Once again, I'm not sponsored by them, but I suggest that you guys check out Ground News. So before we get started today, look like Tim Waltz. It says compares Trump ICE raid to Anne Frank's getting arrested by Nazis. Man, this is ridiculous. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous, though. I mean, I know where they're going because with the Democrats, and I'm talking about progressive Democrats, they know how to play on the heartstrings of your average citizen who is not political. Because if you're looking at it, it looks bad. Looking at the cops, looking at these ICE agents, oh, they beat him down. Oh, they doing this and that. Oh, they shooting and killing. And when I read the articles, right, and it won't really, it have a particular slant, right, which is automatically biased. And they do this because, once again, if it don't read, it don't bleed, it don't read. So on the left, with these progressive, far leftists, they know how to do this to manipulate, right? And this is one of their tactics that they do. And there's some other tactics, too, that we're going to talk about. But I'm going to wait for some people to come into the live stream and stuff like that, too. But, yeah, it's just one of those type of things, though, ladies and gentlemen, which is unfortunate, that we had to deal with this type of nonsense. But, so we're going to go over that. Let me see here. Right. Looks like we got some people in it. We got some people coming into the chat. Welcome to the chat. Let me go ahead and welcome you guys on in, Looks like we're going to knock it out on another live stream where I'm looking like $1 million. Audio is sounding like $1 million. So here we go. So now that I talked about that, man, this stuff is just blowing up. Let's talk a little bit about progressivism and things and how this ties into what's going on today. So today, progressives, right, often left wing of the Democratic Party, right, and we're talking about in the 2000s to present day, right. So you have major figures like Bernie Sanders, AOC, you know what I'm saying, the Squad, they built on earlier ideas but emphasize different priorities shaped by globalization, right? Inequity, climate change, and what we call identity issues. Thank you for the like. I appreciate it, though, too. Thank you, guys, The core benefits typically include economic justice, right? And reducing inequality, right? So this is one of the things that they talk about, like stronger social safety nets, universal health care, right? It sounds good, right? Because when you really look at it, right? And at one time, it's an old saying goes, when you're a child, you more liberal, and as you get older, you start to have more conservative viewpoints because you have experience under your belt, especially if you're, let's say, over 30. When you get 40, 50, 60 and up, you have like a different experience in regards to life. But these are the things that they do, ladies and gentlemen, to kind of play on the heartstrings of the person that may not be as, I guess you could say, politically aware. I guess that's what it is, and that's one of the things I would say though. So these are the things to make themselves look like the victim, right? To play on those heartstrings again, to try to sway voters over, right? And here's another one that I find very interesting: the radical gender and social justice, right? Addressing systematic racism, police reform, right? Immigrant rights, right? LGBTQ, right? Equality, reproductive rights, right? Gender equality. Once again, it sounds good, right? On the surface. But remember, I keep saying if we were to dial it back, before there was ever a LGBTQ, they primarily did this thing in the black community, right? Made all the blacks in the black community feel like victims and all this other kind of nonsense. And here's the thing about it, right? When we start to look at the blue states, the left-leaning blue, I'm talking about the policies, they stink, right? Because we're talking about 10 major cities across the United States. And if you look at them in these major cities, you have ghettos, you have crime. I've always have said this. So if this is what they're talking about, then why haven't we seen it in the black community? Why haven't we seen police reform and all the rest of this stuff, right? I mean, if you look at it, right, and I use the so-called black community as a model, right, because it's really one of my poster childs, because what happens in the black community happens in America, right, when you start to really look at things, right? And this is exactly what is going on. They said they're addressing systematic racism, right? I mean, here we are, 2026. The question I get from a lot of, because I'm an Uber driver, right? The question I get a lot, ladies and gentlemen, when I get passengers in the car, and then we have like these candid conversations, right? And things. So, because again, I'm not, thank you for the like, I appreciate it. I'm not, let's say, emotionally charged up, you know what I'm saying? So I can look at it at a, let's say at a 50 or 75,000 viewpoint. A bird's eye view regards to that. So here it is. I was talking to an African, right? And I think he was from Ghana or something. He was asking me about the blacks in America. How, in other words, why is it that they haven't reached prominence or prosperity? So I explained some things and stuff, And one of these things is that there's a political group, right? We already know what it is. It's the left, far left, progressives, right? And these are the ones, right? These are the ones. This is why you see all this stuff out here right now, right? And we're gonna get there, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me. But I'm just saying, though, this is the type of stuff right here. Climate change, you know what I'm saying, though. I mean, these things right here. Government as equalizer. Here it is right here, though. They talking about expanding public investments, right, in education. Now, here it is. They did that to the government. They allowed the government until Trump took it away from the government. When we had the Department of Education, that was a government-controlled situation right there. Look at the inner cities in Detroit, right, and these other cities. If you look at Chicago, Detroit, New York, right, Maryland, Boston, and so forth. Look at them. Maryland. You know what I'm talking about. Maryland and so forth. Look at all these major cities, right? And this is another situation when we're talking about like this big old governmental education, right? Which have failed us. I'm an actual victim out of that situation. Most of us that went to public school, you know what I'm saying? So with the public school and so forth, who do you have up in there and things? You got a bunch of mostly white liberal women and others, the ones I call awful, you know what I'm saying? Which is an acronym for American White Liberal Female, which is spelled awful, you know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what it is. And they're awful, all right, because they are some of the main contributors, right, along with this other type of victimhood type of stuff that they have pushed on us. And it's a lot more to go into it, but this is the reason why that a lot of them right now, they don't, the racism that they have been told they have been miseducated by the liberals, right? Especially with white liberal women and so forth, right? This is where they preach victimhood and so forth, right? The one of lack of accountability, lack of responsibility, right? And when you look at it, if the Democrat, liberal, progressives were so great, right? Why is it and how is it that we still have crime, violence, and drugs and so what the murder rate? Even though Trump had to step in and where it's going down now. I looked at the crime statistics recently. But when the Dems had it in control, they let it go out of control, though, you know? So it blows their whole narrative right out the water. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to blow up some other things right out the water and things. Talking about anti-corporate corporate power, talking about challenging corporate influence, breaking up monopolies. They were the ones for the monopolies, if y'all remember. The monopolies started with them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about progressives. When they talk about breaking up monopolies, man, monopolies was the thing. According to our America, monopolies were a bad thing because it didn't give people choice. But who's been buying up all this type of stuff? Look at people that have been buying up everything, right? Talking about corporations, right? BlackRock is another one, right? I mean, you look at these Vanguard, BlackRock, you look at a lot of these other, I mean, ain't they buying up stuff? Housing, but they buying up the stuff. So and then you want to thumb down that. So what you're saying is that's not true? I mean, really, I'm not just challenging. How is that not true? How is Vanguard and BlackRock not buying up, let's say, properties and homes? That's the thing about it, though. When you start to challenge, thank you for the like, I appreciate it. When you start to push back on the progressives, they get angry and they go to assaults and name calling because they don't have a defense for it. You guys remember, as long as I've been little, when you start seeing, what is it, Ma Bell, right? We're talking about, it was Michigan Bell, Bell Atlantic and so forth. Who broke that up, right? But it's really a monopoly, though, because before that, we didn't have a whole lot of monopolies. We have monopolies now, right? We have a big conglomerate monopolies. Corporations is buying up stuff, right? And they're in bed with the political system as well, too. This is your fascist right here. We're talking about it right now. Corporate, those people that was at Davos, when I talked about it, those people that showed up, we're talking about multi-billionaires, right? That have controlled what people, talking about policies, ladies and gentlemen, throughout the world, not just America, but throughout the world. And they have been doing this systematically, right? And they know how to, they know the wording. They know how to make people feel like a victim where they don't really have any type of chance or choice or any opportunity. And this is what they do, man. These are the things, though, right? So it blows a narrative because, again, don't listen to what they say, watch what they do. And this is what I've been doing, man. I've been always watch or actually listening to what they do. Their actions speak differently than what it is. On paper, this stuff sounds good, you know, expanding public investments on education, housing, childcare, ending mass incarceration and stuff. They have never ended mass incarceration. Remember, who created the crime bill? It was Joe Biden. We're talking about back with Clinton, right? Mass incarceration of black and brown, rounding them up, throwing them in the system, the penal system. Come on now. So you mean to tell me that they stand against this when they're actually they champion for this stuff? You can't deny it. It's absolutely, you can't deny the crime bill. Some of you guys weren't even around for the crime bill, but you can just Google it and pull it up. I'm citing the information for where I'm getting at. Look at the Department of the Education. That was a government situation right there. The government controlled that, right? The government had control of your kids and all that when it was under the government, overreach of government. And we know with liberals, right? I'm talking about progressives, right? They love the overreach of government, right? They love basically not the Constitution or anything like that, republic, but they what the thing called a democracy. You know what I'm saying? They just love it. They don't have an answer for this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's easy to defeat their arguments and talking points because what I'm citing out right here when it comes down to the progressive, the left-wing group, you know, this is the problem, ladies and gentlemen. They are the problem. I appreciate the likes, too. Thank you so much. They are the problem. This is the main situation here. Look at this: climate action and environmental justice, aggressive measures, right, against climate change, right? Green New Deal. It was all a scam. Transitioning from fossil fuel, protecting, you know, and all this other stuff. It was all a scam, ladies and gentlemen. It's all a scam, right? There's no such thing as this climate change stuff. Yeah, the earth goes through a cooling period and stuff, and it warms up. But the way they make it sound, we got to do something now because in the next 10 years, look at, we are in that 10 years. Remember when they lied and said that Bill Gates, did he admit it to say that he admitted to Trump and said in so many words that it was pretty much a scam. And this is what Bill Gates even said when he cornered them on the truth, you know? But who was the one that really created it? The architect was Al Gore. You guys remember that? Oh, squeaky clean, supposedly squeaky clean Al Gore. It was running a scam, man. The Green Deal, right? The Paris Act, it's all a scam, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what it is. They know how to influence people that may not be as aware, right, of what really is going on and things. What are they? They be holding that ugly girl. What's that ugly boy haircut? Greta. What's her name? Greta something Berg. You know what I'm talking about? The ugly looking one, the Dutch chick, right? Oh my goodness, man. Woo, man, looking like 100 miles of bad road, man. Damn. But at any event, remember back in what was it? This is right around, I want to say around COVID or something like that. Well, she was pushing that climate change stuff. I think it was before that. And she became like, they put her as the poster child. Got a young white girl, you know. I think she was like a little teenager though. Oh, please. They know how to do this, ladies and gentlemen. And then she started gaining traction. She's not even into that. She's not even involved with that no more, you know, because like I said, the climate change or whatever it's supposed to be, it has no traction anymore, especially when the United States is not backing it anymore either. So she went on and started doing this freedom fighting and all this other kind of stuff, though. I mean, whatever the narrative that she's in, she's not even following that stuff no more. It's just a scam and stuff. But let's go ahead and go into the story. I wanted to bring that up about these progressives and things like that because that's what they are, you know. And what the people that follows the progressives, they really don't understand how it really works. Because like I said before, it's designed to pull on your heartstrings, right? And you miss the whole thing. You have to watch in their actions, not what they're saying, right? Because what they're saying, it sounds good. But I challenge that, you know? You have to challenge everything, though. So if you're challenging that, so it is what it is. All right, so other than that, though, let's go ahead and go into it and things. So no fancy experts here, right? I'm just saying, though. It's just my take on what's going on. So today we're going to tackle a hot button issue, right? Why illegal immigration is bad for America, right? We're going to get into it. Look, immigration was built on this country, right? We already know this, right? And the legal immigration, how you going to thumb down that? Which is what it is, right? They're so emotionally charged up, they don't hear what I'm saying, right? It's an automatic pushback, you know, because this triggers them, you know. And I don't wear it to trigger them, even though I do like triggering them, but I do like the hat. It's nice and red or whatever. But they get easily triggered. They don't have any defense for any of this type of stuff. So let's go through it though. So immigration was built, built this country, and legal immigration, right? It's a whole different story. We didn't say right now we're talking about illegal, but when you're legal immigration, that's a whole different story. That is often a net positive, right? But we're talking illegal immigration, ladies and gentlemen. There are some real downsides that hit every day. Americans hard, right? I'll break it down, right? Let's go ahead and go down through it with some facts. And yeah, I cite the sources, which I could put them up, right? Because they are here, you know what I'm saying? This ain't my information, but it's all good, you know? So I'm not just pulling stuff out of thin air. So let's get into it. First off, let's talk about the economic strain, right? Illegal immigration put tons of pressure on the government's budget and taxpayers, right? We all can agree with that. Studies have shown that illegal immigration often have a negative fiscal impact, meaning the taxes they don't pay and cover the benefits they receive, largely because many have lower education levels and end up relying on public services like welfare, healthcare, and education, right? This isn't about blaming individuals, it's about the system, right? And at the state and local levels, this can lead to a short-term negative, right, effect, draining resources that could go to the citizens, right, and legal residents. For example, think about the schools, right? Let's go ahead and do that, right? That are overcrowded, right, with kids. I know what it's like going to a school system that was overcrowded. I think in one of my classrooms, we had about 33 or 34 people, man. And that's kind of unheard of, but in these inner cities, there is an overcrowding of kids, right, who need extra support, or hospital dealing with uninsured patients, right, that costs us a lot more taxes, right, in the long run. You can go to oversight.gov or oversight.house.gov, or you could go to epi.org for those to get that. That's where the sites or the sources are, right? And speaking of the cost, housing affordability takes a hit too, right? With millions of people entering illegally, demanding for housing skyrocketing in certain areas, which is true, right? It's pushing up rent and the price for everyone else in places like California or Texas, right? Where a lot of this is happening, working class families are getting what? Squeezed out. It's not fair when legal residents can't afford to live, right, where they build their lives. It's true. We just can't do it, but this is what has been happening. These were progressives, once again, under the Biden administration. He allowed between 15, over 20 million illegals into this country. And this is a thing, though. People never really think about it affects the economy, right? It affects where you live at, right? Where you go to school at, as well as far as work and so forth. It affects everything, right? Because they don't have to pay you what they normally used to pay. They pay you less. And this is what's going on. There's a lot of Americans that feel slighted, feel disrespected, because they understand these people are not dumb. But if you leave it to these progressives and things, as well as these rhino Republicans, right? They ain't nothing but, when you say Republican in name only, they're liberals. They're the uniparty. It's the same people, right? It's the same people that set this stuff up. And when you start to really unpeel the banana peel, and you start getting down to the inside where the good stuff is, and that's really what you have to do. The outside just look glamorous. You have to peel back and go beyond that, and then you will start seeing what's really going on underneath the hood. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so no jobs is the big one, right? Illegal immigration creates unfair competition for American workers, right? Especially those without college degrees. This is another issue because, like I said before, why should they have to pay you top wage or whatever the wage or whatever it is where they can get illegal to do it? They work under the table and everything, right? And they send their money back home. This is a major issue, right? Now, we're not saying that every single illegal is a murderer and a drug addict, but there are a certain percentage of them that have crossed the border. They came over here illegally. And this is why we're having a problem as well, right? So there it is. So let's go ahead and go further into it. It depresses wages, right? And employment, right? Rates for low-skilled citizens. Employers, right, sometimes hire undocumented workers because they can pay them less, right? Or under the table without benefits. That hurts especially blacks and Hispanics, as well as white working class folk alike. This is a fact, though, ladies and gentlemen. This is exactly what it is, now that we're talking about it, because when we start to really look at it, the problem that black and brown, right, they think, if you're on the left, you think that the left is protecting you. But if you start to really put your emotions and feelings to the side, it was a left progressive group that brought them over here in the first place. So if they were supposed to be all this, you know what I'm saying, for champion for, and so forth, I mean, it's showing up right now. It's different right now, right? It's totally a mess today because it's hypocrisy, ladies and gentlemen, because they're not standing on truth. They're standing on lies. I just got to skip. I'm just going to say it for what it really is. It's lies, ladies and gentlemen. It's a straight lie. This is like, what is it, Matrix or whatever like that. It's just the stuff is not real. It's been made to believe that it's real, but it's not. It's the Matrix, right? So when you start to come out of the Matrix, like Neo had to come out of the Matrix, and he found out that when he saw the real world versus the phony utopia world that the progressive Dems like to set it up to be, they never cared about us either. Them, the Uniparty, they never gave a damn about us as citizens in this country. Thank you for the like. And we have to accept that, right? They don't, because if they did, right, we wouldn't have a lot of the problems that we had now. And this is before we would say the illegal immigrants came over here. Because like I said, you look in the black and brown communities, crime, violence, drugs, they never fixed the problem that they said, that they claimed they said they were going to fix. They didn't have, I mean, you got to think about it. I want you black folks, especially black folks right now, to listen to me and listen to me well. Because you know I just made a hell of a point, right? If the Dems love us so much, then why haven't the crime and the lack of opportunity, why hasn't that subsided? It's continuing on, right? And you guys have to wake up. This is lunacy. This is crazy that you're championing for a party that never gave a you know what about you. It's a fact, right? When I'm coming on here and doing these things, it's to get some people to wake up. Put your emotions to the side, because that's a feminine trait. It's not a good look for a man to come in here and listen for understanding instead of emotionally listen. There's a difference between listening logically, right, versus listening with emotions. And this is what a lot of people do, right? And they miss the whole boat. So let's go ahead and go further in what it is. So who are supposed to be protected by the labor laws, right? Let's go ahead and get into it. It's like, why follow people, right? Why follow the rules if others don't have to? This is plain and simple. Why follow? Why they got these rules for us, right? When the people on the left, the Uniparty, they don't follow them. They don't even. This is the thing about it. When is any of these rules that they follow? They're supporting corruption. They love illegals because we already know this is their voter base. They have to. This is one of the major things, though. Tim Walz and all the rest of this stuff, you know, he's going down this path purposely because the longer he can cause more of this anarchy that's going on, it prolongs his, because this is a distraction. Remember, was it 18, 19 million? How much was it? Or was it billion? I think it was billion. It was a lot of money, right, in corruption out of Minnesota, right? All this stuff that's going on in Minnesota, this is nothing more than a distraction, right? This is what it is. The more crime and violence that they can do, it's a distraction because they can rob. They can say, we put the money in this situation. Oh, we have tried. No, they never tried. It just sounds good coming from the progressive left. But they have hijacked the American taxpayer. That's a fact. The NGOs and all that, it's nothing but a scam and a sham. We already know that. None of these programs really work for the people, especially in the poor, right? Especially for the working poor in these low-income neighborhoods, right? They still are in low income, still at poverty level. All these years, never improved. The Democrats claiming they're supposed to love us so much, but you haven't seen it. But see, that's the thing about it, ladies and gentlemen. You have emotional people that don't listen for understanding. They are just here, they can't deal with the emotional aspects of it. You know, with me, I could see it straight for what it is. The party that works for America for right now, the party is on the right. It is. The left have already shown their hand. I'm over here citing out everything that they claim to stand for that's supposed to be in the common decency and for good of the people in America. It's been the opposite. You know what I'm saying? All it is just the rules, man. They're not promising ish. And this is where we are, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and further into it, you know? So therefore, thank you for the likes too. I appreciate it, guys. Why follow the rules if others don't have to, as I mentioned? This undermines the whole idea of fair play in the job market. It really does. because you saying that it's got fair job market, right? Look at the NAACP Urban League, right? These are the supposed to be the cornerstones for racism and all this other stuff, though, man. These organizations are totally inactive today. They do not work. They're physically there, but they don't do anything, though, too. Another thing, when you start to look at the Civil Rights Act of 1964, when you pull it up, blacks would be surprised who is in that bill. Did you know white women is in the civil rights bill and they never been oppressed? Not what the original Martin Luther King's original civil rights bill, it was designed for people at a time, right, that were going through what we call racism. We talking about lynching and everything, right? But they threw white women in there. They threw minority groups in the actual civil rights bill. The whole time it should have been human rights versus civil rights. And this is another play on road. See how when we don't have an education on things, we are easily to be duped. And that's exactly what it is, though, man. That's exactly what it is, though. So you can't win on those type of levels. Beyond economics, there's a rule, right? A law angle. Illegal immigration basically says, hey, right, borders don't matter, right? This erodes the trust of our institutions, right, when we really think about it. Because if borders don't matter and it's a free-for-all, and let's just say this. Let's say Kamala Harris would have won. I'm willing to bet, let's say, $50,000. The people that come into my room and other rooms with the pushback, they would be screaming, hollering, and shouting, my MAGA supporters. You know why? Because they have been duped and tricked, because when they find out that they don't have any type of jobs or any type of income where they can't go out here because all the illegals have it. Can you imagine, though, 50 million, 50 million, right, illegals in America? Let's say 150 illegals in America. You know, we cannot handle that type of magnitude of illegals, right? You talking about we're talking about an invasion. It's a takeover, and that's really what it was designed to do, right? It was an invasion, though, right? And that's what ended up happening. The same people that are pushing back against me, if Kamala would have got in there, they would be screaming and hollering and yelling because they believe in the lie. It's the great lie, the great immigration migration, man. It really is. Talking about dreamers and all this other nonsense. No country in the world can sustain that magnitude of illegals in their country. Because if they're all here and they're going to pay them less, where does that leave you? Then these are going to be the same people complaining, though. So that's why I say I don't take a lot of merit to what a lot of them do when they come in here, and because it's hypocrisy is what it is. And I'm calling all this ish out right now. You're giving example and walk down examples, right? We have a legal pathway for immigration, visas, asylum process, right? By skipping the line, disrespect those who are waiting for years to do it right. You got to remain in Mexico. They're being vetted. They're trying to go through the right pathway of citizenship, which I always stood on. But for some reason, the left progressives, right? They paint a picture that MAGA and anybody that's conservative hate all illegals. They're racist. They don't want them in here at all, whether they're legal or not, which is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because I cited out all the bullshit coming from the left, right? Especially these progressives. They haven't delivered shit when it come down, even to the black community. And they still thumbing it down, but it's a lie. They haven't done ish at all, right? This is a whole bunch of bullshit. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. You guys are rocking it out with the likes. I appreciate it, though, So this is exactly what it is, though. Now, here's another thing, though, too, right, when we start to talk about it. It also opens the door for bigger problems. I'm just going to go here and get here, right, like human trafficking, right, and smuggling. When the Dems were in control, ladies and gentlemen, you never seen the border or arrests, right, with drug smuggling, the cartel, right? You never seen any of this stuff. They were just allowing drugs to come in. You very rarely ever heard any type of arrest. Now, why is it that when Trump is in power now, we got the border shut down, we're seeing thousands of arrests, war on cartel, even over in Venezuela, look at it. They're restoring the faith back into the FBI, right? The Homeland Security, the DOJ. They're restoring that what we call faith back into the legal system, because it was about to. They were just what they do is they pretend, right, that they care and protect. Look how many. Look at Cash Patel has been doing a wonderful job stopping these terrorists, right? These terrorists, right, that was about to do malicious, they were about to do some stuff over here in Dearborn and all that. They stopped that. Had that would have been under Joe Biden and them, it would have went off. Had that would have been under Obama, it would have happened, though. You know what I'm saying? So they talk this ish on the upload, but on the download, this is the sneaky, underhanded stuff that they do. Blow up more buildings, get more funding. Start more wars, get more funding. That forever wars, you know, Ukraine and Russia is supposed to be a forever war. And who was going to be footing the bill? The United States, right? So I had to bring up this type of things a little bit, but this is how they get down, right? And this is logic. You guys that are thinking logically, everything I'm saying from a logical standpoint makes sense. But from an emotional standpoint that attack their core of their belief system, yeah, it's not going to gel well with them, right? But it's not meant for everybody. But which exploit, right, vulnerable people and put financial burden on families, right, back home. And this is exactly what it does, right? Not to mention national security risks, right? Sure, most folks are just looking for a better life, but without proper vetting, meaning that we're doing background checks, making sure these people are not terrorists or traffic or child, and all that other stuff, right? They're making sure they have to be vetted. Had these people were not allowed to come in here, that girl, Lake and Riley, and a lot of other people, that black girl that ended up, there was a black girl, I believe in Downs, I got to pull her information up one day. And she came to her demise, same situation, effing illegal, right? That's exactly what it is. And there's many more, right? So criminals or even terrorists can slip through, right? Right? Which is true. Now let's look at the health and social services, right? They get overwhelmed too. We've seen this firsthand. Anti-immigration policies can affect undocumented folks, right? Healthcare. But here it is. It's okay for these effing fucking what we call progressive liberals on the far left. It's okay until it starts to affect them personally, right? Because, like I said, our bet, a $50,000 bet, had Kamala would have got in there, it would affect everybody, because you're not part. It's like what's his name? Sam Kennedy. George Carlin used to say, you're not in that club. You're not in that group, right? And that's what a lot of these low-level working class poor that slant to the far left, you're not in that group. You think you are, but you're not. You're not in that group. You've never been in that group. So knock it off. You're not in that group. You ain't nothing but what they call a Goyen or a bottom feeder is what they look at us as. Let's go on and keep it real. So for you to sit up here and push back like this, you're doing the bidding of Satan himself. Just call yourself a Satanist. That's what you're doing. That's exactly what, because what's the other word for it? You're bothered about what should be coming out of my mouth, and you should be listening. Makes more sense than just having these emotional outbursts like a woman for some of the people, for some of these guys, though. You know what I'm saying? Because here it is again. Listening with logic, understanding, common sense policies. This is always going to work. And that's what's winning right now. Logic, common sense policies, accountability, responsibility. Something that the far left knows nothing about, right? This is what they know nothing. They always are playing the blame game every single time, right? It's like they'll throw a rock, break the window, and hide their hand. And that's what the Democrats have always been doing. They have thrown rocks, ladies and gentlemen, and broke up all kind of windows in this country. And I'm using it metaphorically, but they hide their hands. But they hide it. I didn't do it. That's their, I'm a victim. Oh, they love that. They love minority groups. That George Floyd thing, this is a prime example, though. these victim groups, right? They have made the black community. Thank y'all for the likes. I'm really appreciate it. They have made the blacks and other groups, these minority groups, a victim class, right? And what have we got out of it? They have a riot, march, riot. Community never got any better, right? The question should have been putting pressure on these so-called civil rights leaders and activists and things like that. No, I mean, business as usual. All of them got paid, grifting and everything, right? While the community study rots, right? Because it should, if the Democrat policies, liberal Democrat policies, if they truly work, it should mirror what it is in the suburbs, right? I shouldn't have to go to the suburbs all the time to get a job. I shouldn't have to go to the suburbs to go to a nice restaurant. That should be a given anywhere in America. It's like two Americas, one rich, one poor, right? If many of y'all that live in Detroit, Oakland County, right? Go and look it up, Google it. Oakland County is one of the richest counties in the United States. Facts, right? Oakland County. Which is a suburb of Detroit. Detroit is Wayne County. When you start to go into Wayne County and you start looking at these areas, especially in the inner cities of Detroit, you have, like I said before, ghettos, low income, high insurance rates, right? To say the least. You pay more in the hood than you do out in the suburbs. Look at the insurance rates. As I mentioned, the insurance, you're going to pay a lot more. Housing, too, because now that they allowed all these illegals over here and they've been pushing out the locals in those areas, rent is already going up. What is it? You know what I'm saying? This is exactly what it is. But I'm making points, and very good points, right, for the people, right, that are on the far left, these progressives, right, that don't live in the real world, like with AOC, Bernie Sanders, and some of these other ones, right? It makes sense for them to push these policies because they're getting paid. They're all millionaires, right? They're not suffering. They look at their districts, ladies and gentlemen. Have you seen AOC's district? Have you seen Bernie Sanders' district? Look at these districts of these congressmen and senators, and on the special, look at them on the Democrat side, right? But they steady talking about how they're going to be a better fit for America when they can't even run their own fucking districts really well. Look at it. Riddle with crime. You look at AOC's district. You could go and look at it. I've seen it, man. It's terrible, man. Her district is horrible, man. Are you serious? Right? So they're pushing lies, right? And that's what we're talking about. Once again, all I offer is common sense, right? That's the first of all. Logic, common sense policies, right? Versus what they are offering is a bunch of lies, deceit, victimhood, shame and blame, the need to be right, right? These are the things that the progressive left. There is a big difference between some of these liberals and your progressives. The progressives are the ones in power, like Obama, he's a progressive. AOC is a progressive, right? Bernie Sanders is a progressive. There's a list of them, right? Mandami, right? He's a far left extreme, right? We're talking socialist, communist, dummy, right? So you have people like that cannot offer anything, right? Because if Trump was to pull the funding, where are you going to get the money? Unless he's going to try to squeeze it out of the people through taxes, right? Democrats have never been good with budgeting anything, right? When they think of a budget, they always blow the budget every time. Every year they blow the budget. Every year, blow the budget. Always got an excuse, blow the budget. Every single time, right? Every single time, right? So here it is, though, we're in a situation, right, with dealing with these progressives. These progressives are something else, man. And this is why, like I said, the stuff that I've been talking about so far makes a lot of sense, right? But to a progressive, it don't, unless if you are one of the part in the club. If you're part of that club, then it makes sense. You are going to do the pushback because it's affecting their money. Trump been affecting the far left progressive money big time. Thank you for the like. I appreciate it. He's been affecting their money. The spigot has been turned off, ladies and gentlemen. Trump has been bankrupting them, shutting them down, right, left and right. And this is why they're so out of control. You know they're going to try to shut down the economy again. You know, it's coming, which is the 31st of January. So Chuck Schumer already said it, though. He said he wants to have that, he wants to see it in the budget to defund ICE, right? This is what they're standing on. You know, Trump ain't worried about it, of course. But Bernie is going, I'm sorry, not Bernie, but Chuck Schumer is going out on a limb on this one, right? He failed with the other one. He's going to fail on this again because he does not have the leverage. But he's pulling on the heartstrings once again for people, right? Because it's a charade. It's a charade is what I'm trying to say. Because the damn liberals, this ain't 2020. Trust me, they don't have the narrative anymore. They are a very small minority group of people. That's why they have to pay for these paid agitators. If it wasn't for George Soros, they've been busted, ladies and gentlemen, booking them, busting them in all the way up there to Minnesota. I do believe they may be coming from out of Portland. They could be coming out of Washington State, which is a hotbed for Antifa big time, right? So they try to pull in more reinforcements to get you to believe and think that they are the majority, which they're not. They do not. They're not the majority. They always have been the minority. This is another charade. This is a ruse, you know, that is already, we already see right through it, though. You know, it's not even a very good one. They actually had it better in 2020 with BLM and all that other bullshit that was going on versus now. We're in a different climate. They even had to bring out the fake. Thank you for the likes, though, too. I appreciate it. They even had to bring out the fake Black Panther. That's that dude. I done heard that loudmouth man try to sound like he in the 60s. You dig? Nobody talk like that today. Where's the brother act like a time warp? Where did they get this brother from? 1960s? Who he think he is? The modern Huey P. Newton? Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. You know, knowing that, I mean, it's just crazy. It's cosplay, ladies and gentlemen. The phony Black Panther thing is cosplay. These paid agitators, all cosplay, right? That's all it is, though. And we shouldn't be. The only thing about it is that, like I said, talking about the real things that matter, right? Because, again, the midterms are going to be coming up, and we're going to be there to overtake them, right? And that's exactly what it is, to take full control of the House and Senate. The reason that we haven't been seeing the arrests and all this other type of stuff, because right now, we still have a lot of their paid people, as I said before, in the judicial system, right? We start to really think of it's corrupt, though. You know, Trump didn't really realize how corrupt the deep state really is until when he first got in there and came down that escalator, you know? And he said, oh, my goodness, because they have been working on this since 1913. It's been a long, long time. So you got to think, I mean, we're talking about the globalist. It ain't just America, ladies and gentlemen. The people that showed up there at Davos, those are your people right there. Those are your sinister. If I don't know what Satan look like, I think I have a very good idea what the face of Satan is, and it would be over there in Davos, man. You know what I'm saying? For real, for real. I'm just saying. So therefore, let's go ahead and go down through here, though. So where was it? Okay, so the anti-immigration policies, right, can affect the undocumented folks' health, but the flip side is a strain on the U.S. system, unchecked influxes, right, emergency rooms, public health programs, right? Yeah, let me see here, which they're not infinite. And in the post-pandemic world, right, this is a real concern overall. While some argue the economic impact is a small mix, the negative pile-up for everyday Americans, higher taxes, lower wages, right? A strain on services, right? Thank you for all the likes. I appreciate you guys. And a sense that the system is rigged. We need better, enforcement, right? Because it is rigged, right? Streamlined, right? The legal immigration, maybe some reforms to make it work for everyone, but ignoring the problems with illegal immigration, that's not helping anyone at all, as I mentioned earlier. Because if we were all just to turn our backs and the rules don't apply, just like letting people in here, you see, that's what they did. And this is why we have a problem. This is another reason we got rate hikes, so not on rent, but everything is going up, right? We just can't sustain it. We just can't, right? So that's basically what I'm talking about in regards to that. And going back to with these progressives again, right? Let's go ahead and further down here. So the modern day progressives often see themselves as pushing for structural change beyond, right? Right? Liberal reforms, focusing on root causes and inequality, rather than just symptoms, right? In short, both historical and modern progressives share a brief belief that the society can and should improve through active government intervention and reform, right? Rejecting pure free market solutions that target or have shifted, right, from from trusts and corruption. In the early 20th century, the radical inequality, climate crisis, and extreme wealth concentration, concentration today, right? So the label progressive really remains flexible and contests with some viewing it as positive, forward-thinking reform, right? And the other critically outreach of identity focus on politics, right? So this is what it is, though, to be a progressive, right? That's exactly what it is. Because I notice when they start to push policies, it's everything sounds good until you really start getting into it. It's like kind of buying a car, right? Now the car looks good on the outside, all shined all up. It looks good, the seats and everything, get in, turn it on, and then when you buy it, it's called a lemon. A lot of us got lemon laws, right? And that's what the Democrats are. They should be what they call a lemon, because I voted for this and this is what I'm getting. The black community should have had a lawsuit against the Democrats, man, but we already know because a lot of them have been tricked, and especially with the older blacks, right? The ones that have been around in the 60s, right? Things where they actually saw more inequality than they have today. That's a fact, right? It should be a lawsuit, but I'm still baffled as to why this party haven't been sued, because we have every gripe and right to be. Here it is. They've been over here stringing reparations. You're never going to get it. You know what I'm saying? You're never going to get that, And here's the thing about it. They put these things up. What's it called? The HR, I think it's called HR 40, I believe. Let me just go and pull that up real quick. I think it's called HR 40. I do believe that's what it is, right? Is it HR 40? It's the one about the reparations, though. Some of you guys may be able to help me out, though. It's a study of the reparations, right? It's a study. It doesn't say that they're going to get it. It says it's just a study, meaning that we're just going to be looking at it. I may be wrong about the actual HR number. I think it's HR 40, though. Yeah, I think that's what it is. But it's just a study. You know what I'm saying? But that's what they do. The Democrat, liberal, or I should say progressives, they give blacks this dangling carrot. Come over here, all this and that. And it's an illusion. You're never going to get it. You know what I'm saying? So while you study over here thinking that Trump was a problem, because way before we had a Trump, you still had the same problems that we have right now. Let's be real. I challenge that too. You think that Trump is a racist and all that? When Trump was if he never came down that escalator, right? Because you had Obama for 8 years, right? Let's go on and say it. We had Bushes, we had Biden. Let's go ahead and deal with it, right? If Trump would have never came down that escalator, let's deal with the other presidents. You didn't get shit. Let's keep it real. Just keep it real. You didn't get nothing. You upset. You upset with Trump. You didn't get nothing when you were voting for the Democrats. You didn't get SHIT. That's a fact. That's what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. They have no defense on the stuff the points that I'm bringing up. It's very, very hard. I back you in the corner. It's checkmate on you, right? Because if you, even emotionally, say, damn, he got a good point there. Shit, I never thought about it that way. If Trump is supposed to be the problem of all our aches and worries as a black person, you're still in the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? You still lack of education, the lack of a lot of things, disenfranchised, overserved communities. That's been the model for a very long time. In fact, when blacks started shifting from the Republican Party over to the Democratic Party, they started losing. We had more black wealth in the South than we ever had today. Did you know in Mobile, Alabama, and so forth, you had over 100 black bus lines, right? We have movie theaters that were black, supermarkets, everything. We had more wealth. Talking about Black Wall Street, shit. There's so many of these things all over. Now, you just got hoods all over the United States. See what I'm saying? See how easy that is just to handcuff these people, right? Doesn't make any sense because they know what I'm saying is the truth, right? The progressive Democrats have lied to you, right? Especially in the black community. You have been hoodwinked, as Brother Malcolm would say, and bamboozled, right? And the people that have been doing it is the people that think they love you so much. Do you really understand what true racism really means, right? Do you truly understand what that is? It's the progressives. They never gave a damn about any of us, black, white, and other. Am I telling the truth? Am I telling the truth? They never gave a damn about anybody. You're not part of the class. You're not part of that group. You ain't got no membership and no access to that. To millionaires and billionaires, none of us do, right? So for you to sit up here and champion all the great stuff that the Democrats have done, I call bullshit. All of it, right? Because if it was true, right, then blacks would have reached prominence. They have not. They've been sold a bill of a lie, of what it is. Not a great bill of health, but they've been sold a lie, right? And that lie, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason why they are always going to be and forever underclass, underserved, right? Disenfranchised. Thank you for the likes. These are the things right here. What happens in the black community, it spread it out towards America, right? What hurt the black community was several things. And one of them is when you have this mass immigration that's coming in, because it's already been reports that blacks can't even get jobs in their communities. They give it to the low skill illegal. He gonna get the job easy, and he gonna show up on time, and he gonna work, right? Because he knows he has to. Coming from these countries like Mexico or wherever, they send their money back home. They don't pay into our tax system, right? This is what they do, you know? They'll live like, 15 in one house? No problem at all. Sanchez and Juan, right? and all the rest of them, Daria and all the rest of them. They don't have no problem with that. They send their money back home, What's the median for a Mexican right now? It used to be like $30,000 a year. It was about about $10,000 less of what the black man makes, which is about $40,000 to $44,000 a year, right? I'm talking about the median. I got to go and pull it back up. And I used to know it, but I know things change a little bit. But that's really what it is, though, I have to break this stuff down, ladies and gentlemen, because the people that have never been winning were the blacks that voted for the Democrat Party the whole damn time. They never been winning. You got Obama in there, to say the first black president? I never voted for him. You got to have more than just being the first black president, you know what I'm saying? The policies never worked, not only for the black community, but it didn't work for America. We lost a lot under Obama, right? Facts, right? He wanted to take our freedoms away. We're talking about First Amendment. Obama can't stand the Constitution. I know that may be hard for some of y'all on the left, but Obama is not a constitutionalist. Hillary Clinton is not, and the Clintons are not a constitutionalist. Most of them are progressive. These people are progressives over here on the left, the far left. They hate the Constitution, right? They're not constitutionalists, right, at all. I suggest that you guys do it again. Read the Communist Manifesto. It would go into a lot deeper of why we are seeing the stuff that we are seeing now, right? George Soros hates America, and he hates the Constitution. They have been all working on hacking it, dismantling it, because they know that this is the only thing that stands in their way of total dictatorship, right? So therefore, You know, I make up some very, very good points tonight, and this is where we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is where I'm going to get to the comments in a minute. But like I said, this is where we are, ladies and gentlemen, and things. So when you say about making America great again, we're talking about the Constitution, right? And everybody should know the Constitution, at least know 5 of them. If you don't know all 27 of them, I'm talking about their amendments, because they're important, right? But like I said, if you notice, like in certain minority groups in America, they're not very patriotic, and this is coming from the progressives again, because they made them feel like victims, right? So instead of standing with America, they see America as the enemy. They still think that we're still living in the 1950s today, right? And then you got 1960s with the cosplay, phony, fake Black Panther guy and all the rest of this stuff, That's just all dress up. Because when it really comes down to the real facts, though, none of these so-called communist party groups are going to save you. You know why? Because they can't make political change. Trump can. They can't. Instead of hating Trump, you should be learning to work with Trump, right? You want to work with the person in power, not run away from it. This is what the progressives on the far left have taught you. They have taught you to run away from the problem instead of addressing it and looking at the policies, talking about it, getting the person. You have to learn to work with them, but they're not even, it's ridiculous. You mean to tell me you don't even want to work with a person that can possibly make change, And like I said, we look at it, Trump is a very unique president. I'm going to break this down again. When I say about him being a very unique president, Trump was already a multi-billionaire, you know what I'm saying? He was a billionaire, right? Born rich, right? I mean, if we really think about it, ladies and gentlemen, it's very rare to see a billionaire get involved with the politics at this magnitude. This is a billionaire, white billionaire man that's getting pushback from his billionaire class people, right? I mean, they created all this lawfare stuff, put all these lies about Trump and all the rest of this type of stuff, said that he was an enemy combatant, he was bad for democracy, he was a Nazi. They put all this stuff against Trump, right, to destroy his reputation and basically try to impeach him, because they know with Trump here, this is a guy here that don't bow to no one. All your other presidents are bought. Believe me, you name him, he's bought. That's a fact. That's a fact. Obama been bought, been compromised, right? Clinton been bought, been compromised. You name the president, bought, compromised, right? Trump is the only unique president we have ever had in our lifetime that will not bow or will not bend the knee. Trump never bent the knee to the globalists. He's on their level. Your other guys ain't on their level. I mean, Obama and them got millions. They ain't got billions, but they got millions. You know what I'm saying? They bowed the knee. They took the money, right? They bowed the knee, pushing policies, right, in this country that's hurting average Americans today. They went after the wealth of this country, robbed the people, robbed the wealth of the people here, right? We weren't meant to be in this situation. We were meant to have wealth in this country. An average person was meant to be able to make an affordable amount of, be able to have what we call affordable living standards, being able to go out here and work like it was in the 1950s, right? And to be able to buy a home. Many of these Xenios can't even do that, man. They can't even buy a car. You know, it's really sad. And I feel sorry more so for the Xenios, right? Because they are really in a bad place right now. They rely on Ubers to go in everywhere. They don't want no car. You know, for a person like, be a Xenio today, how they going to be able to afford to buy a car, right? How you going to be able to afford a car note? How you going to be able to afford insurance and everything? How you going to be able to afford repairs? House going to make it a lot worse, right? Because if you don't have the income, you're going to lose it, right? And if a person is talking about fixing the economy and making change, right,
for the average person, where as a person in America, where we could be able to afford the things that every American should have access to housing. It shouldn't be for the special elite group. Why is it that the left push for these BlackRock and all the rest of them, these corporations, right, to be able to buy up single-family homes? Vanguard, they've been doing this for a while. Trump signed an executive order. He said it at Davos, at the meeting there, that he said he was going to stop that. So therefore, the average person, right, could be able to afford a house, right? Everybody, man, that's your God-given right. You know, in this country, right, you should be able to afford a home for you and your family. That shouldn't be for the special elite class, right? It shouldn't be. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. Thank y'all so much. Why is it that you know what I'm saying? Shit, I can't afford no damn home the way things are going. And this is done by design, right? At least that we have someone that is fighting for all Americans, right? Not just some Americans, all Americans, right? As opposed to the progressive on the left and all the rest of them, they're fighting for the corporations. The corporations pull their chain. They always have been pulling Obama's chain. There's a chain around Obama's neck. You know that? Just like with the rest of these politicians and congressperson people and senators and all them, most of them are being controlled by the corporations, right? And the powerful elite. A lot of them was there at Davos, right? They didn't like this stuff with what's going on in America. The real 16-year plan was basically supposed to be the Great Reset, supposed to pull us into the Climate Act and all the rest of this stuff, the New Green Deal. They were going on the way of destroying our reactors and our power. We're talking about our energy over here in America and stuff like that, to make us subservient to them, right? Social credits system was right around the corner. You guys should go and pull that up. Smart cities and all this stuff. You know all that stuff was on its way. This is 1984 jumping off the pages today. If you ever read that book by George Orwell, right? 1984. You Zennials and anybody else that don't know, you should read that book, because you'll find that book will be very, very telling in regards to what is going on today, right? So this is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a situation where we have a chance. You know, we have a fighting chance to be able to push back, push against the corporate globalists that hate us, hate our freedom, hate the fact that we have homes. They were on the verge of taking those. They said, oh yeah, with the great, at the economical reform, you know, at the Great Reset, everybody be enjoying just not having a house and just living in a social system, right? Which is called welfare 2.0. And this was going to be they were going after some of the wealthy people, even that's not part of the group, to take their wealth away. All this stuff was on its way, ladies and gentlemen. It was coming. So yeah, so other than that, though, let me take a look at the comments and stuff, you know. But yeah, I just felt the need to want to bring this up and things. And I know I miss, and I don't mean to miss a whole lot, though. You guys have been rocking it out, man. Oh my gosh, I got these likes. Oh my goodness. Even a dislike, like or a dislike, it still makes it good because it helps the algorithm. So either or, ladies and gentlemen, it's all good. I have to go and look at this. Yeah, I might have to go look at some of this stuff later and things, though, you know. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, because I see there's a lot of comments, boy. Woo, man. I'm gonna have to go through there or whatever, though. Let's see here, blah blah blah. But yeah, so other than that, though, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, that's one of those type of things here. But nothing of real importance. I was really looking at some stuff. See, I'm a Mexican, and you think that Trump will let me buy a house? Yeah, if you're a Mexican, let me put this up here. I'm going to post this up. If you're a Mexican, see, this thing ain't just for Mexican people. We're talking about, you know, when you come in, right, through the right path of citizenship, you too can afford to buy a house, right? You too can be somebody when you come over here in America. This ain't about attacking immigrants, man. This is about the illegals that were allowed to come over here under a wicked government system, man. That's exactly what it is. And this is why we are seeing the situation. Like I said, this is not an attack on Mexicans or anybody else. I mean, there's many Mexicans. I got friends from other countries. I got a friend from China right now. He's been over here for over 25 years. He got his citizenship, and I celebrated it with him, man. I was proud of him. He got his citizenship probably about 5-6 years ago, but he got his citizenship. So he is an American now, you know what I mean? Coming from China. And he understands what communism is, truly. All right, let's see here. It just says you're wrong. Don't have anything to back it up. I've been checkmating you the whole time there. I'm just going to call you Jan. You haven't been able to answer anything that I've been talking about and things because, like I said, if the progressive liberals were so great, just look at the black community, though, right? If they were supposed to be so good and so wholesome, why are they still in the ghetto? Why are they still underserved, right? Why are they, what is the other one? Disenfranchised, right? You can't answer those questions, can you? Or anybody else, right? Because you have a right to disagree. But like I said, I hit you with some of those facts just in the black community alone. And then look at the fact about the inflation, right? That was rocketing and skyrocketing under Biden. It was as high as 9% before. I remember that, right? So there it is. But here it is. I put up those questions, right? And we're only talking about victims, right, that were part or voted left. Talking about progressives. Look at the educational system. That's why they just come in here saying he hate himself or he's a this and that. But I checkmate them because they can't answer the questions, right? You can't answer them. You follow up with another question, and you don't even know how to debate for a lot of you. He's wrong. What am I wrong about? Blacks are disenfranchised, right? Blacks are underserved. Blacks suffer from being under predatory lenders and everything. Why you think that is? And I come out of the black community. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You want to make it sound like, and then here she goes, why do you think that Trump invites? See, it goes back to why do I think Trump? No, let's deal with what I'm talking about with you on what I was mentioning earlier. You go straight to Trump. See, ladies, I'm already winning the debate. I've done this with liberals. Man, I know the strategy. I know the stuff, right? It's to deflect. She's deflected. Jan, you're a deflector, That's what you are, though, And that's what a lot of you are, man. You're the traitor. Because like I said, look at these underserved communities that voted on the left all their life. I had parents and grandparents that voted Democrat, dyed blue all their life, and they still in the ghetto, right? They still under victimhood and all the rest of the stuff. So I'm just saying, here it is. So you have no debate. You deflect. You bring up Trump, bring up Epstein, and all the rest of this type of stuff. But you still have not answered the question that I asked earlier. No, I don't even, it's no sense even dealing with it. Because like I said, I get liberals all the time, ladies and gentlemen. This is not nothing new. They have nothing. New ballroom, Epstein files. Why do I think about Trump in this? They don't have an answer of what I mentioned earlier. Look at the other reason with the healthcare thing. These illegals were getting free healthcare while we were paying for it. Premiums, they charged me about $600 and some odd, right? For a month for supposedly premium healthcare. Why they were over here. Y'all remember when they were over here in these sanctuary cities? They allowed these illegals over here, right? They were getting free health care. They were getting put up in like some of Ritz-Carlton and some of these other places. Free, off of the taxpayers' dime. See, this is another thing though, No, Jay, I don't want to deal with you, Jan. I already know where the trick bag you coming out of. You know what I'm saying? I already checkmated you already. There's no sense of even commenting at this point. I already defeated you and this other dude too, and a lot of you. I already defeated you already. because you haven't gave me the reasons why. Just like with this thing, why is it and how is it? May I ask one more time, right? With the progressive left, they took the taxpayers' money, right, that was coming out of our pockets to give them the free set-aside programs, right? They got free health care, right? They were over to go out here and get on SNAP and all these other benefits. Where do you think that was coming from? It was coming from the taxpayers, right? They took these set-aside programs and gave it to illegals, which is illegal, but they gave it to them. They were getting these stipends and everything while us hard working. I was mad as hell. And you got the nerve to fix your mouth and come on this internet and you want to cape for them when they don't even give a damn about you at all, though, Jan and the rest of you. You think they give a damn about your liberal ass? They really don't. You know, Mexicans and other, they don't give a damn about Africans. They don't give a damn about you. They just think you're dumb and stupid is what it is, that you over here champion for them. They ain't never been out here marching in the streets, championing nothing. They don't have to. They got stupid people like you that could do it for them. So you're the bigger fool, right? You can't even answer the stuff that I'm talking about. This is ridiculous, right? Well, I tell you though, you know, that's what I said though. You're not standing on ish. You know, you're really not. Checkmate. And I do play chess. What are you playing, checkers? You can't play checkers with a chess player. Are you kidding me? I done been checkmate. Checkmate means that you can't go anywhere, right? The king can't move forward. The king can't move backward. He can't move diagonal, because everywhere you try to move with a conversation, I'm going to hold you right in the center where you belong, right? You try to deflect, try to ask these other questions. We're not playing that game. I'm the one to ask the questions around here. I'm the one to bring up the points. We're not playing the Democrat, liberal, leftist game anymore. This ain't the news. We stand right on this focal point right here. You know, I don't need no mods for any of you. You know, you know, and when I do have them, I take you on right now. And you haven't been able to defeat my talking points, my topics of what I've been talking about. That's why this is just child's play. It's like you're a little child trying to hot box with God or something, though, and you're just getting knocked out, KO'd, because you can't even deal with the facts that I was talking about. I made points and references in the black and brown communities, talking about being underserved and disenfranchised and so forth, crime, blight, drugs, and all this. These issues you would have thought that the Democrats would have had an answer to fix it. No, they were just enriching themselves. You know, look at your congressmen and look at your senators, especially on the left. They have all enriched themselves with millions of dollars. They don't give a damn about you either. You know, look at the Somali though. Look at that woman, Ilhan Umar, $30 million. She don't give a damn about you at all. If anything, for some of y'all that's white, you should be offended, which a lot of you are. Because she always go in on white folks all the time, big time, you know, where it was the same white people. And she married to a white man. And the fact is, wasn't there white people like Waltz and so forth? I mean, because I believe he had a lot to do with it. You ain't going to make that kind of money under the nose of a governor, let alone a mayor. It don't make no damn sense, though, man. Stop the bull. Stop it. It's just ridiculous, man. How do you make this kind of money? How do you rip off Americans? They done ripped off the Americans with billions, man. Sending it over there to a terrorist group. How do you not know it? You know they were getting cutbacks as well. You know, we already know it. How does this happen, right? I mean, you guys on the left that's trying to cape for this stuff, y'all looking bad, man. Because the majority of the people are not even rocking with you. You know what I'm saying? Not at all. They're not rocking with you at all, man. I have, and thank you for the likes, because I have 95 likes to your 61 dislikes, you know? That kind of tells you something, because the dislikes are not even genuine. It's just whoever this, what's it, dark money, some of you being paid, bots or whatever, that come in here, and which I'm not, like I said, don't make me none anyway. The dislikes still help my algorithm. For you to even comment on here helps my algorithm as well. I just say, come on in here. Come on in here, because once again, You don't have an answer to what I brought up. Some strong facts. In fact, for some of the people, and thank you for the like again, and for some of the people that are just coming into the chat, I went over some solid facts about what the progressive far left, what they really are and what they really stand for, right? And I'm just busting up their false bullshit of what they stand on, right? It's nothing though, you know, and they just use the blacks just like they use these other groups. The ADL and all the rest of them are controlled opposition, right? Right? Just like Black Lives Matters, all these things, defund the police, all of them, right, are bullshit organizations, right? They really don't hold no merit, right? But they're designed to disrupt, discredit, and to run confusion. These are paid psyop control opposition, straight like that, you know? Now that they're losing, they don't even have the narrative anymore, right? And this is another thing, right? They can't, the people that come in here as my detractors, they couldn't even answer the questions that I even asked, right? Because if the liberal Democrats supposed to work so well in America, then why do we have crime and violence that's up? But again, they've been cooking the books for a long time, right? At least with the Trump administration, they've been finally cleaning up the books. They've been cooking the books. You know why they've been cooking those books? Because they get more funding, more crime and violence in these neighborhoods. They get more funding in these cities, or in these states, I mean, right? This is exactly what it is. In these states, they get more. It's about this. Follow the money, ladies and gentlemen. Follow the money. They never gave a damn about these so-called low-income people and all these disenfranchised. They never gave a damn about those people, man. Those are their foot soldiers. Some of them are in the room right now because they know what I'm saying is the truth. That's why you don't see no answers to it. They bring up stuff. They don't have an answer. It's asking a question or some bullshit. They don't have any. They don't have anything though, right? I'm just saying, don't have anything. Wow. It's not surprising. And this is the reason why I'm not really reading a whole lot of what they got going on, because a lot of them ain't saying nothing, right? Most of them ain't saying nothing, right? Most of the ones that agree with me, yeah, you guys are saying stuff. I mean, we're on the same page, and I don't mean to sound like that I may be passing you guys that's over on the right up. I'm really not. A lot of you guys on the right, you guys get it. Because look at my likes. You guys get it. It's the ones on the left, my detractors. Either they don't want to get it, which I can understand because they defeat their purpose, right? And other reasons as well, too. So, therefore, I appreciate it, Hall family. I'm going to go ahead and look at the people that do rock with me now. You guys do deserve a special recognition, though, and stuff. Let me go ahead to, man, that's a lot of comments, though, too. I'm trying to get through it. But I want to give the ones, because at least for you guys that gave the likes, you at least deserve some type of recognition. Crystal, is that Hallinger says yes, and that means citizens couldn't access those services. Yeah, and this is another smart person right here. This is what, I'm going to post this, what Crystal just said. Look what Crystal said. And I apologize, I'm just getting back to you right now. I'm kind of doing this in reverse and things like that. But this is what Crystal said. She even gets it. You see what she said? Yes, and that means citizens couldn't access those services. This is fact. They couldn't access. These illegals could, but we couldn't, right? There was a lot of things that the illegals were able to do that we couldn't, right? Let me see here. Right. Not talking about nothing. Right. They agreed to. Let me see. Where did blah, blah, blah. Nothing of substance. Also paid the credit cards to get my credit score up in order to get my house. I work my ass off to get in the home and a lot of time, blah, 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 and jump over those stupid hoops. Let me put up what Sherry had to say. And this is, and what I just read, this was what they call the American dream. Because if you work hard or work smart and things and get your credit right and all that, and that stands for anybody else. She's telling you right here, she didn't have nobody just giving her ish. She worked for it, right? And she worked for her getting that house. And congratulations to you, Sherry. Congratulations to you on your home and things like that. Put in some good work and things like that. Everybody should be a homeowner, you know, not talking about nothing. not talking about nothing. Let me see here. Demon rat politicians who defend the poor and themselves millionaires. Let me see here. Yep, that's what kind of says. Okay, he says demon rat politicians who defend the poor are themselves millionaires, and that's a very good point. Read what he's just said. I'm going to post it up now. I'm just doing it in reversal. This is exactly what it is, right? Crystal says they're always pulling the same card. Yeah, it's a playbook. It's so obvious. Even when they come in here with these trying to be disingenuous. I mean, I've dealt with this stuff though. They don't have anything, right? They really don't. We are beyond debating with these people because there's no debate. A lot of them are just disingenuous anyway. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you guys commenting and stuff. Let me see here. Nothing. Not talking about ish. Nothing. The Demo Rats. Let me see here. California man says, I'm sorry that you were in California, man. Sorry about that, man. But Demon Rats stereotype blacks as ignorant, incapable of getting a driver's license or registering to vote, which is absolutely correct and true. Yep, this is absolutely true. They never been about the party loving on blacks, because if that would be the case, we should have and show evidence of prominence in our communities, not by being over police or under police, right? With crime, violence, and drugs and everything else, predatory lending, underserved neighborhoods, disenfranchisement, and so forth. If their system actually worked, then we should be able to see more and have better, but we don't, because they have made the so-called black community a victim class, right? We're shaming and blaming and the need to be right, and it goes on and on and on, ladies and gentlemen. It never worked. Most of them have been programmed to hate whites and others, especially when you're doing better than they are, right? They hate the foreigners too that come over here. And a lot of these foreigners had help, when they came over here, classified as being white, given set-asides and programs. They just leapfrog over the blacks, and the blacks are still rah-rahing for them out in the streets trying to, oh my gosh, what they doing to the Somalis. Your average Somali don't give a fuck about average black folk, let alone anybody else in this country. And that's a fact. So you guys right there, man, you guys can really suck it, man, because you ain't, I'm hitting y'all with some major blows, man. Mike Tyson hits, you know what I'm saying? And you just kind of see you hitting the canvas. You know what I'm saying? It's a fact. You ain't got nothing from me. You know what I'm saying? I just hit your ass with logic, common sense, right? And I don't even have a degree, right? Look at this stuff. This is terrible. This is, I figured it out. But, I mean, some of the conversations, let me see here. All the back and forth is strong. Executive must stand up and forcefully unite. American system education must be. Oh yeah, I'm for bad. Like I said, Baby Rob. There you go. It's not like people like Baby Rob and Crystal and others. I can get behind this, because it's not about. The division is coming from the left. We are trying to unite. We are trying to pull together, though, right? As in this country, we all live in America, right? You know what I'm saying? We all live in America, right? And that's exactly what it is. Let me see here. Obama and Clinton have gallons of Diddy oil. Yeah, I can believe that. They got gallons of that. I can believe that. Let me see here. Legals are a priority over African Americans. Here it is. This is what I like what you said, California. Man, I like what you're saying, man. See, this is substance now. Now we're talking. Now we over here talking now, man. This is exactly what I'm saying, though, We got some people here that understand what I've been saying the whole time, man, and in agreement. Because as Americans, not just blacks, like I said, the blacks was just a precursor or the beginning of what was about to happen in America. And now it was almost about to come to fruition. But one man stopped it with the Patriots, and that's Donald J. Trump. Democrats have used blacks forever. Now they are replacing them with illegals. Here it is again. This is what it is. Yeah, this is exactly what happened. Blacks that are listening to me now, you know, if you don't believe that, you are the one that's the Uncle Ruckus. What he just said, California just said, blacks are being replaced by illegals. And if you want to sit up here and act like that ain't true, you are the bigger Uncle Ruckus. You are the bigger bootlegger. You are the bigger Sambo, right? Really? Huh. Look at your community. You know what I'm saying? You ain't like none of us arrived. Look at it for what it really is. Many got bars up on the windows. You know, in the inner cities, though, ladies and gentlemen, you know they still have bars on their windows and stuff. Is it to keep the crime from getting into their home, though, you know, which is a death trap. Because if there's a fire or something, you know how many people that have died, even small children, in house fires because they could not get out, because they have to live like a cage rat, right? In the damn cage. We shouldn't have to be living like this. This is not how this stuff is supposed to go, right? You're supposed to be able to challenge your party, right? You're supposed to be putting together and organizing against this type of travesty. Look at what's going on, though. This is crazy, man. Let me see here. He doesn't know the constant. Oh, my goodness. Jasmine Hood Rat Crockett for 2028. Yeah, her district has been redistricted. It's already been redistricted already for Jasmine, you know. So, yeah. She got that other woman that's running against her, though, too. She got a fight on her hands, though. I don't see her making it as a senator, you know, because I think her, since everything has been changed around in her district, she got to win over those people there, though, and I don't think she's going to be able to do it. She doesn't have a high IQ at all, you know, not very intelligent at all, though. And I'm glad you brought that up about Jasmine Crockett. You have what we call these are the grifting blacks, right? That speak the so-called black language, right? She knows the lingo, even though she comes from a very, very middle class, upper middle class family. You know what I'm saying? I believe she holds a law degree and everything. So she never lived in the hood. She never talked like that. This is just cosplay. Anybody that, if you go back, pull up the old clips with Jasmine Crockett, she never sound like that. These are the things that the Democrats do, right, to try to say, hey, I relate with your struggle. She never struggled in the hood. She grew up, and I'm not knocking that, but it's just a fact, right? So how can Jasmine Crockett be the deliverer once again, though? You know, when you look in their districts before it got redistricted, right? Look in their districts, right? It's the same thing. It mirrors the hood. It mirrors the ghetto. And this is what the people in here don't have no. They really don't have an answer to what it is that I'm bringing up. I'm bringing up some major, major facts. I'm hitting major blows right now. You don't have an answer for it. This is cosplay. This is just ridiculous. Jasmine Crockett is just cosplaying again, though. That's exactly what it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is exactly what it is. It's just cosplay. You know, let me go ahead and look at some more of the chats here before I shut it down and stuff, because I'm trying to watch my time, though, too, you know. And, you know, I usually do my roasted section or whatever, but I said, oh, yeah, I'm over an hour, man. I'm like 30 minutes into it. I'm going to have to shut this down. I'm going to read a few more criminals. I'm ready. I'm already debating and getting to, and it's getting to you. Already debating. Raw honesty, what you debated about. I'm just seeing your comment for the first time. You got to keep in mind, when I was over here reading my notes and everything, I don't have access to the comment section until right now. I don't know what you even talk about ready to debate. I mean, you could tell me something other than what I said about how the progressive left have taken advantage of people like the people in the so-called black community. They are a representation. They are the embodiment. They are the epitome of being underserved, and so forth. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Wow. You know? And see, people that see this thing, intelligent people know what I'm talking about. But for the blacks that's champion for the liberal Democrats, You know what I'm saying? When they get these celebrities, these rappers, entertainers that know nothing about politics at all. But I don't listen to celebrities. These black so-called black celebrities and entertainers and rappers, it's pitiful. You know what I'm saying? Comedians, it's it's bad when blacks are listening to people like that, right? You know what I'm saying? You know it's bad, right? Oh man, and they are real grifters. Those are the bootlickers and the sandbowls, right? These are the ones. Their job is what they call the slave catchers, where they catch the slaves and bring them back on the Democratic slave plantation. That's what a lot of these celebrities are. Even your Roland Martin, right? Applehead Roland Martin, Al Snaketon, and all the rest of them. That's what they do. That's their job, right? And they get Ricky Smiley and D.L. Hughley and all of them. Man, I don't listen to no damn comedians. Are you Corey Holcomb? Are you kidding me, man? Don't he got some bigger problems right now but hitting on that woman? He didn't have no hands for airtime, but how can Corey Holcomb have hands for a woman, right? That's about right. These type of guys that's afraid to fight real men, but they could jump on a woman, though. How you like that, right? Boy, I tell you, man. Boy, it's a sad day of affairs, man. You know, and this is one of the reasons that you should be even listening to celebrities, man. They are the epitome of what I've been talking about the whole time. They done made their money. Their job is to grift and to keep you on that Democratic slave plantation. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, I don't know who you are, Ogie or whatever like that. We know that ain't your real photo, man, because you the coward right there. If you were really about it, you would put your real photo up. Why don't you put your photo up and stop hiding behind avatars and, people with Down syndrome, right? Because, if you were really about it, you'll put your real photo up in there. Let's see what you really look like, right? But you a coward. You just come in my lives and think you being slick and clever, and you just, you're not even funny, let alone, this is crazy, Crystal says, I can't wait to uncover the fraud in California. Yeah, Nick Shirley is all on that story. This corruption has been going on far too long, and the buck stopped here because now the world, let alone the United States, is looking at it. We as the people of America are seeing the corruption for what it really is, right? That's the thing about it, though, But, yeah. And normally, and like I said before, let me see here, wait a moment. California, it's global. Yeah, we know a lot of global elites own a lot of real estate in California. They have priced people out in these areas, right? And if they ain't been priced out, then you got illegals that are over there, which it makes it very difficult and hard to be able to pay rent. You got to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs just to be able to keep up, right? This is the gift that we got from the progressive left and a lot of these fascist people that was at Davos. This is what we have in return, ladies and gentlemen, right? This is the big middle finger that they have given us, right, in return. Ain't none of them over here have addressed or be able to deflect or defend my talking points. That means I'm the winner tonight again. Yeah, look at this. If it ain't an insult, it's just some BS stuff, though, because, the people that have been hoodwinked by the left, they're not really running with a full pack, just it's pretty sad, though, man, but this is basically what it is. And this is not really to convince them, because a lot of them are gone mentally anyway. They have been so used to being the victim for so long, that's all they know is to be a victim. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. Democrats support anyone, this is from Dante, right? Democrats support anyone who isn't America. Trump and Republicans love America. I got to post that one. I'm going to put that up there. That's absolutely correct. You are absolutely right. Let me see here. Raw honesty, you ain't nothing honest that you have said all night. You sound like another mad, disenfranchised, you know what, that I've been talking about the whole time, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what you are. I can tell just by how you're typing here, and your anger is misplaced. You know what I'm saying? You should have this smoke for the party that put you in poverty in the first place. Your smoke ain't with me, it's with the left. It's with the liberal left. I'm talking about the progressive. That's who you should have a smoke for. That's who your racist is. That's who the ones that have gotten you to the point being in the underserved communities, right? Disenfranchisement. And I'm going to keep on saying that. Your fight isn't with me, it's with them. Let me see here. For Florian says that chick shot by ICE was Antifa professional, you know? And I wouldn't even rule that out. I'm going to post that up there, though. But, you know, because some of you guys are making some very good points to the points that I've been making the whole time that I've been on, you know? Let's see here. Crystal said, facts. They're tripping in these comments because in here, see, I like where Crystal, very, very, look at this. You're very aware, right? Trump is my president and I'm proud of him. And so am I too, Crystal. I'm proud of him too, you know? You know, this woman here have more balls, right, than a lot of my detractors that hide under avatars. At least she has a real photo up. It's the least I could say about you guys that hide behind avatars and want to act like you big and bad, being a keyboard warrior and stuff like that, knowing damn well you ain't about that life. You know what I'm saying? Nick Joel says, 100% right. Liberals use blacks as pawns and they treat them like slaves. Exactly. That's all I've been saying the whole time, Nick. You know? Look at them. They're slaves right now. They're doing they're doing the work of their slave master, coming in here trying to be disruptive. I've been kicking their ass on the debate all night. They don't have nothing for me. You know what I'm saying? They really don't. Jasmine says any woman or black person should never vote Democrat, right? Never vote Democrat and against their best interests. And that's something that I always said too. Blacks have been voting against their best interests all this time, historically. This is why they never reach prominence. You know? Prominence is not, you're not going to reach prominence being a victim and blaming other people and committing violence and other heinous acts. That's not going to get you to the promised land. At some point, you're going to have to learn to take accountability and responsibility of your own actions if you want to be successful. Anybody can be successful in America. Thank you for the like. So playing this victimhood stuff is not good for you at all. It's not a good look. Party of small government. You know, exactly, because again, and now who said that? That was Riley. Yeah, and that's what we all believe in. We want small government. We don't want a big overreach government. We don't want the government reaching out to every affairs. That's what the Constitution was set up originally. So therefore, it was designed to offset and to push away from overreach government, right? Overreach government. It's a damn shame that, oh yeah, we can have a gun, but we got to have a CPL, which I do own one. But I'm just saying, the Constitution is the Constitution. Let no one infringe on our rights, right? Exactly. This is exactly what it is. So let me see if we go down through a few more. You're never going to be accepted by MAGA. You don't even know what MAGA is. This means Make America Great. And a lot of people in this room that rock with me want to see America be great. You want to make it sound like it's a party. For you that means you don't even understand MAGA. MAGA is not a party. It's a movement for better and change, for better. Y'all been in power on the left for as far as I can remember and ran America into the fucking ground. Are you kidding me? Tried to. Allowing these illegals over here was the last straw. Economically, socially, look at it, educational system. We used to be up in the top, the top 20. We way down the list, even on the education. If the American system works so well, why are we at the bottom, damn near, right? When it come down to education, you know? You got more Indian people winning spelling bees right now. Indian Americans hold more spelling bee winners than the average kid that are not first immigrant and so forth, right? I mean, I'm just saying. You got others too. You know, we used to mean something in America with education. Man, please, man. That's why I say, man, he doesn't understand. He looking at MAGA as a party. And MAGA is so much more. It's not about a party. You think it's going to stop because of Trump? Yeah, he coined the phrase, making America great. And they try to pollute that. You can never pollute what I'm wearing on my hat. This is bigger than your party, and it's greater than your party, because this represents change. Because while we in power right now, things are changing in America, right, as we speak, whether you want to accept it or not. And thank God that we don't have to look for y'all approval for anything, right? Because it's happening whether you agree or not, right? Look at that. So other than that, guys, I'm about to get ready to get on out of here. It's just the people over here. They don't have nothing for me, though. Once again, the champ, the reigning champ, they don't have anything, though. You know what I'm saying? I've been knocking them out. Everybody been coming up there in the disagreement, been getting knocked out, you know. You know what I'm saying? So other than that, what else? You know, I gotta do. I'm gonna do just a couple of my roast things, though. I know a lot of y'all really like my roast sections, though. I promise the next time I'm gonna get my roast section going on, because I know it's getting late, though, and I don't want to. You know, I got others here and then want them to be able to sleep and stuff, you know. But I gotta say this, though. This is my favorite piece, though, you know, because when Trump, let's say, enacts, or actually with the we already know, with the Insurrection Act, I'm just gonna let y'all know on the far left.
Ooh, I'm afraid the deflector shield will be quite operational when your friends arrive.
Yeah, it really will, though. You know, that means that's the military. For those that don't know what that is, I had to take a Star Wars clip. For those that are Star Wars fans, you know, the deflector shields will be quite operational when your friends arrive. So he's going to have a nice little surprise, though, you know. If this governor doesn't step down in Minnesota, man, it's going to be a rude awakening, though, you know what I'm saying? So, and things. So what's also going, I thank you for the like. And also, anybody that watch Star Wars,
that time has come. Execute Order 66.
and that's what's going to happen is when Trump execute Order 66, it's going to be a wrap. You know what I'm saying? That's going to shut all that down. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, America is steady being united. You know what I'm saying? There's people that's coming around. We have came a long way. Remember in 2020, man, with that BLM and all that stuff, man, we had a lot of people. Now, some of those people, a lot of those people that were in that particular space on the far left, they have came around and they see what's really going on. They're seeing who the enemy really is, and that's the demo KKK rats. Those are the enemy, the Satanists, right? These people, right? And I'm not talking about people in this room. I'm talking about the elites, right? Also with the don't leave out the rhinos too, man. You know, so the rhinos is Republicans in name only. They are liberals. Make no mistakes about it. And they are, unfortunately, a lot of them are in Senate right now. They have been blocking. I'm going to do a piece on that the next time, and things for the rhinos. I'm going to do a special thing on the rhinos. There is a difference, right? Rhino Republicans, right, are Republicans in name only. That's all they do. They're the uniparty. They are them, and the liberal Democrats, progressives are all the same. They're just the same, right? So other than that, I thank you guys for being a part of something great. Once again, I am your host, Tony Love, and, you know, I got a lot of love, no Diddy and no baby oil, you know, but I got a lot of love, you know. I'm your brother, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's good, you know what I'm saying? And I'm all y'all brother, you know what I mean? So I think we knocked it out, though, too. Got that big, beautiful American flag and the White House and stuff like that. So it's looking really, really good. You know, I try to always have a nice little backdrop, you know, in my bedroom, you know. I got a bedroom studio, man. Look at that, boy. But yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, it's been real good. I'm going to do the roasting next time, though, you know. I promise I'm going to do that, though, because, you know, I always enjoy doing a roasting. If I start doing a roasting, they go to 2 hours, 2.5 hours, man, I tell you, boy, you know. Yeah, I put up what Crystal has to say. It's always the other side that scream out names and labels. When they get upset, it's pathetic. Look like a temper tantrum be enthroned. Shaking my head. Yeah. Crystal, you are absolutely right though too. And I promise that I'm gonna make some of you guys mods and stuff as well. If you come back on my live, let me see here. Let me see if I can still do that right now. Give me one moment. I gotta deputize some of y'all, man. Some of y'all need to be deputized though, you know, cause I'm the sheriff, and I'm looking for some deputies, you know, some real ride or die and things for the cause, because, you know, yeah, I'm gonna get some ones that are some deputies. Even though I can handle trolls all by myself, but you know, it's all good though. Let me see here. Let's take a look at it here. Is it coming up now? Why aren't you not showing up? Yeah, that's the thing about YouTube, man. Even when I go live, man, it's like can't find myself though. Thought it was a conspiracy. Guess not. I'm gonna get you on there. I want to try to get some deputies, man. Yep, because it's a sheriff. We got and not a new sheriff. We got a sheriff, and that's Trump. Trump is the sheriff, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. So I'm gonna try to see here. Let's see here. I can do it off. I'm gonna do it on my. There's a way I can do it. So therefore, I'm gonna deputize a few of y'all, man, because I like what you guys are saying. The ones that come in here with sense, you know, and things like that. We got somebody from Ohio State. Now, you know, I'm in Michigan, but this person says Ohio voted. Boy, you know, we got a gripe, don't you, boy? I'm over here in Michigan. You know, Michigan and Ohio can't stand each other, right? Yeah, you got it this time. He said this guy is a dingleberry, you know. I want to wipe some of my dingleberry on juice on this guy's face. Ohio, what's his name? Nathan. Can I go ahead and do that? Put some dingleberry juice on your face. Let me stop, because once I start going into the roasting, I ain't gonna stop, man. Let me stop that. Let me see here. Dante said Trump has been a legendary president. I know that's right, Dante. Yeah, Trump is legendary, because there's never no one like him before, man. We never had a billionaire that stood up against the American people and pushed against the globalists, right? Because everybody else bowed down. Obama bowed down, Clinton bowed down, Biden bowed down, Bush's bowed down. We can go as far as back and things like that. But a lot of these people have bowed down, man. They bowed down. And look what ended up happening, right? Yep, they took the side of the dark side, you know? Oh, man. Yeah, boy, I tell y'all, man. I'm over there just reading some. I'm gonna read some of these other comments off line too, you know. But we cannot allow the wicked, evil, demo KKK rats. You know, the KKK was started by the Democrats as well too. For those that don't know the history, they've been around since 1928 for the Democratic Party. Demo KKK rats, right? These are the low down, vile, disgusting. You know, just every negative, every evil thing that there is, man, is coming from the left, man. Now that they're being found out, more and more people see the cultist bullshit coming from the left, man, and things. And like I said, we study destroying them, man, you know. Let me see here. Panicking Skywalker. Oh, we got a Star Wars fan in here, man, before I go. If we got Kamala, that D be us. That didn't be us. Try to read. You might have to clarify that a little bit. I'm trying to make it out. Yeah, but Kamala, man, oh my goodness, boy. But hold on, you know what really made me famous on here, though, with my one soundbite that they just all love and know. You know what I'm saying? Hold on for a minute. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, you far left globalist, you know, DMs, you know, you progressive DMs, globalist DMs. It's gonna be okay. You want some McDonald's? It's gonna be okay. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it for you. You know, but other than that, guys, I gotta get going though. You know, I appreciate you guys, man. Y'all came in and rocked it out. Man, I got over 100 likes, man. I really appreciate you guys, man. And I'm going to be breaking down some more other stuff, though, too. Just more on this progressive stuff, man. Because more and more people are waking up, and more blacks are waking up, too. This is one of the reasons why they brought in the illegals in the first place. They said we can't rely on these you-know-whats no more. It's like what the one guy said, less educated, don't really have a lot of intelligence. And this is coming from the left. This is what they really say in closed doors, about blacks and others. They just look at us as a low class, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, of course I'm not going to rock with something like that, I'll take the billionaire, right? Right? And that'll be Trump. And we're going to talk about again on my next one, thank you for the likes, all the celebrities, especially black ones, like Kodak Black. There was, Little Wayne and a lot of them, man, due to Trump, because a lot of them would still be sitting in prison right now, though. Trump knew they all had a raw deal. For a racist wouldn't do that, And we're going to uncover that the next time. All the black entertainers and others that Trump have helped, Jennifer Hudson and her family, right? When her family got murdered over there in Chicago, Trump put her up for free, I think like 6 or 8 months over at the Trump Tower, one of those places, though. He helped out quite a other people as well, too, man. Trump had helped out a lot of people. Let me see here. Trump is king in ice. Oh, yeah, this is a good one. Pew, pew. We got pew, pew in here. Pew, pew. There you go. Boy, I like what you're saying here, man. And that's the thing about it. Yep, and ICE we trust, man, because I think ICE is doing a phenomenal job, man. ICE is really, really doing their thing, though. And I'm sorry I'm just getting on you right now. Pew, pew. I know what that means. See that? He got that tool in his hand, too. I know what that means. I know somebody on the right of the minute, because he understands, pew, pew, But, yeah, exactly, though. So, yeah, he understands, though, Yep, there it is right there, though. So ICE, they're doing a remarkable job under what they have to deal with, you know what I'm saying? And, it's just a damn shame, though, that these people that, and you can see it with the government. I started to do it with Tim Walz. I said, you know what, I'm not going to do one on him. I said, no, it's enough on that, man. Ain't got to talk about retardation and all this stuff. That just be giving him too much credit, too much of credit. Yep. I'm over here just looking at a few of these other things, but you guys been great. I'm about to get up on out of here, man. MAGA got the thumbs up there. Look at it, boy. That's what's up. Yeah. Look at that, though, boy. Trump keeps winning, though. This was Dante said. No matter what, for those that don't love or like Trump, he keep winning. He got a career record winning against the Dems, right? That's a fact. So I appreciate you guys for coming on, man. I'm going to get up on out of here. Angelique says, as soon as NWO George Soros money, soon as George Soros, yeah. All I know is George Soros is one of our problems. And there's many of these globalists like him, right? They are the ones for real, though. I'm not your enemy. Your enemy are people like George Soros, Eric Kessler, right? Bill Gates, right? And then the list goes on and on and on. These are your enemies. These are the people that can't stand you. The ones that you're blocking and protecting, these are the same group of people that cannot stand you know what. You just a useless tool as the foot soldier to go out here and get yourself deleted, right? The people that already got themselves deleted, they're just going to keep on bringing more of them out there. I'm not going to die for a cause like that. Let it be a good one, right? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? What's his name? Dayaman says Republicans shut down the government because they were trying to take away all the social. No, Daya, you got it wrong. No, you got it wrong. See, this is the type of stuff right here, right? I could tell that she probably don't know one policy of Trump at all. This is why I usually ask a lot of liberals before I go, right? Because I know she doesn't know. You know who shut down the government, Sweet Pea? It was actually Chuck Schumer. You know, and the reason he shut it down, remember, it wasn't that long ago, right? He shut it down. Why do you think he shut it down? Because they were trying to pass the, which is nothing but the Obama bill. There were some other things that they wanted in there, right? Trump said, no, you're not going to waste any more of American taxpayer dollars, right? That's the reason why they shut it down. Now, what's unfortunate, the people that the Dems hurt was the people in their own districts that was on the welfare and all that in the first place. And then you want to say Trump shut it down. You know that was a lie. That was not true. See what I'm saying? Stupidity would get you nowhere. Sorry, wrong, right? Dead wrong. All right, guys, I'm going to have to get ready to head on out of here, you know. Sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but names will never hurt me. You know what I'm saying? So, and you should feel the same way, though, you know. If I call you a name or an MFer and all that stuff, it should never hurt you, you know. It really shouldn't. Let me see here. True black, oh my gosh, Hebrew Israelite. There is no such thing, oh my goodness, as a black MAGA. This fool. Boy, you guys are the loudmouth MFers that stand out there on the corner, broke as a joke, and you're wearing your purple. You look like the bigger fool, right? I would never follow an organization like that preaches hatred, right, and bigotry, you know? You should look into your so-called religion. You guys are grifters, right? You need to educate yourself, you know, because you should be lucky that you have a country like America to allow you to stand up. See, this is the thing about it. What you hate so much, but under the Constitution, you benefiting from it because there's not many places in the world that's going to allow you to come out here and verbally attack people and talk ish about the president and other people, because anywhere else you'll be arrested. You'll be in chains and in prison right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's you that is the one. You know, you guys are a little cult group anyway. I know about you guys, but you're just a little cult group and things like that. You don't have no power, and I don't listen to people that don't have no power. You know what I'm saying? You don't have any at all. Because if you was really rolling with the real God, it would show. Remember what Jesus said, no, you would know my work for the fruit it bears. And guess what? Hebrew Israelites, Nation of Islam, none of y'all ain't bearing no fruit. Sorry, right? Many false prophets will come before me, right? And this is false prophecy right here. So I'll be damned if I'm not listening to, no. Because you don't have it. You in the ghetto, you in the hood too. You ain't prosperous. You ain't building no communities. You ain't building no businesses. You ain't building no infrastructures. You ain't building nothing but just running your mouth and collecting money and teaching people how to hate other people. Get the heck out of here. I'm sorry, I'm just getting on this clown right now, though. Hopefully he'll come back and listen to it, you know. I just destroy you because you ain't bearing no fruit. You would know my work for the fruit it bears. You ain't bearing ish, but a bunch of bullshit. I don't follow and prescribe to that, man. These old losers that stand out on the corner with your loud mouth or whatever. Why don't you get into a real institution? Build up in the community, right? The black community is already underserved enough as it is. Shouldn't you guys be building up and building in there instead of talking this other nonsense? You know, yeah, you don't have it at all. Checkmated you two. Get on out of here, clown. You was a clown. Let me see here. Panic says, Huey P. Newton, daughter told you to stop cosplaying her father for loser garbage. The guy that's standing out there is not no Black Panther, man. That group have already been eradicated back in the late 60s and 70s. Huey P. Newton is not here no more. He's gone, right? And that's in most of their members. Some of their old remnants that was around where they got into politics and stuff like that. Others was in prison and so forth, man. Come on now. So you mean to tell me that this ain't no Black Panther type of deal here? This is crap, man. You know what I'm saying? hopefully he better be careful before you don't want to find yourself, because the military got bigger guns than your little gun. You got a semi, they got a full automatic, They're not going to run out of ammunition taking you down, You better start smartening up. Don't let these grifters, man, put a battery in y'all back, because already, man, like I said, if you can't show God, when you see God's work, it's going to flourish. It's going to show. A lot of these guys just running their mouth and grifting. That don't work with me. Black Hebrew Israelite. I love getting in these guys' ass. You ain't shit, Learn to build up the community first. I call them out on that. Because you guys, none of you guys, you guys is talking this crap. The black community shouldn't be in the situation that it is in. One of the most dangerous neighborhoods. But they won't go in there. I bet you that. They talk all this ish, but they ain't going to go in there and do it. They're full of shit. All right. Other than that, guys, I'm about to get ready to get on out of here, though. I did a little roasting and things like that, and stupid blacks that want to suck the, what are their Democratic slave master or whatever like that. If it was really about it, they'll fix their community. But they won't. They always blame everything on white supremacy. Oh, my gosh. I always said that whites is already superior to them already, boy. This is crazy. Other than that, guys, you take care of yourselves. I'm about to get ready to sign on off. It's getting late, though, and I appreciate the likes, though. You guys have been great. I think we knocked it out of the park with this one and things like that. Yeah, so that's the thing about it, though, man. We are in a better situation. Yep. Did I tell you I met Don Jr.? Yeah, I met Don Jr. before. That was last year? Yeah, last year and stuff, though. Met Don Jr. I met Corey Landowski, It was a pretty cool thing, though. That's how I was able to meet Don Jr., which they know about my channel, by the way, what I'm saying? Shout out to Don Jr., Yeah, that's what's up, though, man. Other than that, guys, I appreciate you. I do. I'm about to head on out. You guys take care of yourselves, and I'll see y'all on the next live stream. I'm trying to think of what the next stream is going to be, but we have until the midterms to defeat the evil empire, which is the Demo KKK rats and all their adversaries, right? All their, provocateurs and saboteurs. We are going to defeat them in this midterm. You guys take care of yourselves, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Please like, comment, and subscribe, please. And especially for those, though, too. You can comment in my sections. I do read the comments back, though, I'll get the little notification and stuff. So please make some comments. Please comment and stuff. And then share this information with some of your friends as well. I'm your brother, This is coming from not a black MAGA. This is MAGA, Making America Great. Not just for black people, but we're talking about for all people, ladies and gentlemen. So therefore, share this information, though, to your friends, your colleagues, your relatives, you know what I'm saying? And I'll see y'all on the next live stream. Peace and chicken grease. I am out, Peace.